Now vapor pressure of solutions of two liquids. Now you consider one binary solution of two volatile liquids A1 and A2, and these two liquids are placed in a closed container, and these two liquids are miscible with each other. They form the homogeneous solution, that is the binary solution. And as I explained earlier, after some time there will be dynamic equilibrium, and this equilibrium it will be established between vapor phase and liquid phase. The partial pressure of the components are related to the mole fraction in the solution. Now what is mole fraction? This is new term. Actually this mole fraction, it is a concentration where actually this is the ratio of the number of moles of one component to the total number of moles of all the components. This term we studied in standard 11. Mole fraction of solute, it is the ratio of number of moles of solute to the total number of moles of solute and solvent. And mole fraction of solvent, it is the ratio of number of moles of solvent in solution upon total number of moles of solute and solvent. So this is what is mole fraction. And here important thing is the partial pressure of component. Now what is this partial pressure? I am going to explain in next slide. So partial pressure of components are related to the mole fraction in solution, and this relationship it is given by Raoult's law. So you consider two volatile liquids A1 and A2. So this is pure liquid A1, and suppose this is this act as a solvent when its solution is prepared. It is larger component in solution. So for this pure liquid A1, P10 is its vapor pressure in pure state. Now what it means? Now when this liquid is kept in this container, after some time there will be dynamic equilibrium, and number of vapor molecules it will be remain constant, and the pressure exerted by these vapor molecules on the surface of this liquid, that is the pure vapor pressure at a given temperature. Similarly for another liquid, that is A2, this is also volatile liquid, and when it is kept in another container of same volume, for example, at dynamic equilibrium, vapor molecules of these liquid exert pressure on the surface, that is the vapor pressure of pure liquid A2. So P20 is the vapor pressure of pure liquid A2, and when solution of these two liquid is prepared, suppose A2 act as a solute and A1 act as a solvent, because A2 is mixed to the smaller extent and in solution A1 is present to the larger extent. Now after this, suppose solution of these two component is prepared, A1 is or A2 is added to A1. Again after some time there will be dynamic equilibrium, and in this vapor state there will be some A1 molecules and some A2 molecules. So pressure exerted by A1 molecules on the surface of liquid, that is the partial pressure of A1. So P1, it is the partial pressure of liquid A1 when it is in solution state. Similarly A2 molecules in vapor state exert pressure on the surface of liquid, that is the partial pressure of A2, and it is denoted by P2. So P2 is a partial pressure of liquid A2. X1 it is mole fraction of liquid A1, and X2 it is a mole fraction of liquid A2. As I said, mole fraction, it is a ratio of number of moles of given component to the total number of moles of all the components. So x1 means it is the ratio of number of moles of A1 to that of number of moles of A1 plus A2. So that is x1. Similarly, x2, that is mole fraction of A2. This is the ratio of number of moles of A2 upon number of moles of A1 plus A2. So in this way, by mixing two volatile liquids, that is A1 and A2, we prepared binary solution. Now according to Raoult's law, the partial vapor pressure of volatile components of solution, it is equal to the vapor pressure of pure component multiplied by mole fraction of that solution, mole fractions of the component in the solution. And therefore, according to Raoult's law, P1 is equal to x1 into P10. This is for solvent. Actually this P1, it is the partial pressure of A1, x1, it is the mole fraction of A1, and P10, it is the vapor pressure of A1 in pure state. So according to Raoult's law, partial pressure of any component, it is the product of vapor pressure of that component in pure state multiplied by mole fraction of that component in solution. So this is for solvent. Similarly, for volatile solute, according to Raoult's law, P2 is equal to x2 into P20. Now according to Dalton's law, actually Dalton's law of partial pressure, it states that the total pressure exerted by all the component, it is the sum of partial pressures of all the components. So P1, this is the partial pressure exerted by A1 when it is present in solution, and P2, it is the pressure, partial pressure exerted by A2 in the solution state. And sum of these two partial pressures, it is nothing but the total pressure. This is the Dalton's law. Now when we substitute the value of P1, that is P1 is equal to x1 into P10, as well as the value of P2, that is P2 is equal to x2 into P20, then total pressure, this is the sum of these two terms, that is x1 into P10 plus x2 into P20. Again we know that the sum of mole fractions of different components, it is always equal to 1. In a solution, sum of mole fraction of solvent plus mole fraction of solute, this is always equal to 1, and therefore x1 is equal to 1 minus x2. Now we are going to substitute the value of x1 in this equation. So we get total pressure, it is equal to P10 into 1 minus x2. So this is the value of x1, this one, plus this right side term is same, that is x2 into P20. So when we simplify this, it comes P10 minus P10 x2 plus P20 x2. Again, when we simplify this, when we take this x2 as a common factor, then total pressure is equal to P20 minus P10 into x2 plus P10. So this is the equation of straight line, that is y is equal to mx plus c. Here y is correspond to total pressure, m this is P2 minus P20 minus P10, and x, this is x2. It means when we plot a graph of total pressure versus x2, that is mole fraction of A2, then there is a straight line passing through origin. Now look at this graph. Now in this graph, vapor pressure increases along this y-axis and mole fraction of component, especially x2, mole fraction of component 2, that is A2, increases along this x-axis. Actually here it should be x2 and not x1. x1 is equal to 1 and x2 is equal to 0. So here x2 increases from 0 to 1 and x1 decreases from 1 to 0. So here it should be x1. x1 is equal to 0, x2 is equal to 1. So mole fraction, that is x2, increases along this x-axis and vapor pressure increases along the y-axis. Now here at this point, as mole fraction of A2 as it is 0, as per this second equation, that is P2 is equal to x2 into P2 0, the value of P2, it will be 0 because this x2 is 0, and therefore at this point the P2 will be 0. Now along the x-axis, as value of x2 increases, the value of P2, that is partial pressure of A2, increases steadily, and at this point there is a maximum partial pressure of A2. Now corresponding to this point, x2 is maximum, that is 1, and therefore as per this formula there is a maximum value for P2. So this point represents the maximum value of P2, as well as this point corresponds to P2 0. It means at this point P2 is equal to P2 0. Now again, now consider this point. At this point the x1, that is mole fraction of A1, it is 0, and therefore P1 is equal to 0 as per this first formula. So x1 is equal to 0. Now this entire term, it becomes 0, and therefore P1 is equal to 0 at this point. Now when we proceed along this line, steadily the value of x1 increases, and here the corresponding x1 value is maximum, that is x1 is equal to 1, and therefore at this point P1, it is equal to P1 0. So this line represents the P1, that is partial pressure of A1. Now consider this solid line. Now along this line, total pressure increases from here up to here, and the total pressure, it is equal to, or it is the sum of partial pressure of A1 as well as partial pressure of A2. So this solid line represents the total pressure, and it's steadily increases as the value of x2 increases. Now here in this graph, it is clear that the total pressure, it is in between the vapor pressure of pure component A1 and the vapor pressure of pure component A2. The total pressure values are in between these two extreme values. This is also very important. Next point is composition of vapor pressure. The composition of vapors of the solution at equilibrium, it is determined by Dalton's law. Dalton's law of partial pressure. Statement of this law is already I explained. According to Dalton's law, the total pressure of a solution, it is the sum of the partial pressures of various components. So according to Dalton's law, when we simplify this Dalton's law, partial pressure of component A1, it is equal to, or component 1, partial pressure of component 1, it is equal to mole fraction of that component into total pressure, or partial pressure of component 2, it is equal to mole fraction of the second component into total pressure. So in this way, the composition of vapors of solution at equilibrium or partial pressures, it is calculated by Dalton's law. Now next important point, that is the difference between ideal solution and non-ideal solution. So this point is important for examination. Now what is ideal solution? The ideal solution is that solution which obeys Raoult's law over entire range of concentration. It means ideal solutions obey Raoult's law when solution is very low concentrated, as well as solution obeys Raoult's law when it is high concentrated. So it obeys Raoult's law over entire range of concentration from low to high concentration. On the other hand, non-ideal solution, it is a solution or solutions which do not obey Raoult's law over entire range of concentration. Especially non-ideal solution obeys Raoult's law when solution is very dilute. Another difference is, in case of ideal solution, enthalpy of mixing is 0, that is delta H mixing, it is 0. Now what is enthalpy of mixing? So when two solutions are mixed, sometimes there is a evolution of heat, or sometimes there is a absorption of heat. Accordingly, process may be endothermic or exothermic. But at the time of formation of ideal solution, when two components, that is solute and solvent, are mixed, process is ideally neither endothermic nor exothermic, and therefore there is no enthalpy change. So delta H remains the constant. So this is for ideal solution. In case of non-ideal solution, enthalpy of mixing, it is non-zero. So it may be positive or negative. It means at the time of preparation of non-ideal solution, when solute is mixed with solvent, either there is a evolution of heat or absorption of heat. Process may be endothermic or exothermic. So here enthalpy of mixing, it is non-zero. It means either it is positive or negative. Third difference is, in case of ideal solution, the volume of that particular ideal solution, it is equal to sum of volumes of two components, that is delta V mixing, it is equal to 0. What is the meaning of this? At the time of preparation of ideal solution, for example, 100 ml solute mixed with 1 liter solvent. So resulting volume, it will be 1100 ml. So both the volumes just we add, that is addition of volume of solute plus addition of volume of solution, it gives the exact value of volume of solution. This is true for only ideal solution. That is, volume of ideal solution is equal to sum of volumes of two components, that is volume of solute and solvent. So delta V mixing, it is 0. Whereas in case of non-ideal solution, the volume, resulting volume of solution of non-ideal solution, it is not equal to sum of volumes of two components. It means at the time of preparation of non-ideal solution, when 100 ml solute is mixed with 1000 ml solvent, then resulting volume may not be exactly equal to 1100 ml. It may be slightly less than that quantity or volume, or more than that volume, and therefore delta V mixing, this is non-zero. It may be greater than 0, or actually difference is not 0. There is a difference in the volumes. Now third difference is, this is very important difference. In case of ideal solution, solvent solute intermolecular interaction, it is same or comparable as that of the interaction between solute and solvent. Always when two substances come together, some forces are interacting between the molecules, which may be van der Waals force or London force, hydrogen bonding. So different physical forces or intermolecular interactions are operating. So here in case of ideal solution, in between solvent and solute, whichever type of intermolecular force of attraction is operating, the same type of force exists between solute and solvent. Whereas in case of non-ideal solution, the solvent solute intermolecular interaction, it is totally different. It means that interaction may be weak or strong as compared to the intermolecular interaction between solute or solvent. So interactive force or intermolecular attraction of solvent solute after preparation of solution, it is different than the individual components, that is solute and solvent. So this difference is very important. Now fourth difference, vapor pressure of ideal solution lies between that of pure components of, that is solvent and solute. This point already I explained earlier at the time of explanation of Raoult's law. And in case of non-ideal solution, the vapor pressure of non-ideal solution, it may be higher or lower than that of pure components, that is solute and solvent. Now example of ideal solution is mixture of benzene and toluene. Interacting forces are same in between two molecules. Delta V is 0, delta H mixing is also 0 when we prepare solution of these two components. Whereas example of non-ideal solution is the solution of ethanol and acetone. So this is the solution, resulting solution is a non-ideal solution. Now depending upon the type of interaction, whether interaction is weaker or stronger between solvent and solute, non-ideal solutions are of two types. Non-ideal solutions showing positive deviation and negative deviation from the Raoult's law. So first of all, we try to discuss what is non-ideal solution showing positive deviation from the Raoult's law. Now in this type of solution, or the solution in which solvent solute intermolecular interaction is weaker than that between solute or solvent, so such a solution shows positive deviation. Solvent solute interaction is weaker than the interaction between solute, that is when solute present in pure state before formation of solution, or solvent interaction. So in this case, the vapor pressure of such a solution is higher than those of pure components. Now look at this diagram. The dotted line represents the ideal behavior. Ideal behavior, vapor pressure of component A increases as the mole fraction increases. So this is for A2, that is another component, and this is the total pressure when solution behaves ideally. But as this is non-ideal solution and showing positive deviation, actual total pressure, it is greater than the ideal value. So ideal value, it is represented by this dotted line which is straight, and this solid line represents the deviation from ideal behavior, which is actually positive deviation because total pressure, it is greater than the ideal value. So here also the vapor pressure, partial pressure of component A2, it is greater than the ideal partial pressure of A2. So this solid line also shows the positive deviation. Now another type, that is non-ideal solution showing negative deviations from the Raoult's law. Actually before that, what are the examples of the ideal non-ideal solution showing positive deviation? Examples of such a type of solutions are ethanol acetone, carbon disulfide and acetone. So these are the examples. So non-ideal solution showing negative deviation from the Raoult's law. Now here the solution in which solvent solute intermolecular interactions are stronger than that between solute solute and solvent solvent, such a solution shows negative deviation. Vapor pressure of such a solution, it is lower than that of pure components. Now again look at this diagram. Dotted line represents the ideal behavior. So this is the ideal total pressure of the solution, and this line, this is the ideal partial pressure of one component. This dotted line again shows the partial pressure of another component when it shows ideal behavior. But as intermolecular force of attraction between solvent and solute, it is stronger than the forces between solute solute and solvent solvent before formation of solution, their vapor pressure is actually lower. So total pressure after preparation of solution, it is lower than the ideal total pressure, and therefore it shows the negative deviation. Now here you can see the solid line represents the actual total pressure after preparation of solution, and this dotted line, it shows the ideal behavior. Similarly, this solid line, it shows the negative deviation of partial pressure of component A2 as compared to the ideal behavior shown by this dotted line. So this solid line also shows the negative deviation of partial pressure of component A1 as compared to the partial pressure of component A1 when it shows ideal behavior. So in this way there is a possibility of negative deviation and positive deviation for non-ideal solution.